Hello and welcome everyone to the Difference+Makers show. I'm Lynn Sanders, your story marketing coach, and I am so glad you are here today. This is our time to get inspired, empowered, and motivated to be at our highest potential. And we do that by learning from thought leaders, difference makers just like you, who are going to be sharing their stories, tips, and strategies so we all can make a positive impact in the world. And I am so excited and honored to have our special guest with us today. But first, I want to encourage you to take a step, an action step, to connect with each other. Please leave your name and where you're hanging out from in the comment stream, and feel free to share your questions or comments during the program. This is your chance to learn and get connected and build relationships. So let me first let you know that today's topic is very near and dear to my heart. It's all about learning to write, publish, and market your life-changing stories. And that's something that I personally have been interested in for a long time. According to our guest, accessing your authentic message and writing your transformational book is one of the most powerful things you will ever do for yourself, your clients, your business, and ultimately for the world. How many of you listening here have a story that's just waiting to be written, published, or marketed? Please share your thoughts right now in the comment stream. I'd love to hear from you. The main challenge we face right now is we only have 30 minutes to cover a topic that is very deep and something that takes a lot longer than 30 minutes to go into. So I want to let you know that at the end of the show, you're going to find out about an event coming up that you all can participate in for free, where you'll get more information. So please know that any comments and questions that are answered right now, we will get to them and you'll have a chance to learn more. Before we go any further, I want to introduce our wingman, who is my dear friend, the host of the popular Saturday morning Smarty Show and founder of R&D Hotline, Roland Takaoka. Roland, would you say hello to our guests? Let us know where you're hanging out from, and also let us know who is joining us right now. Who are some of the people?
Hi, I'm joining you from Southern California, where it does not look so sunny right now, but we have, let's see, I'm just going to go right through this because I want to take as little time as possible. Christy Lambert, V. Lynn Hawkins, K.M. Thomas, Karoslav Matula, and a lot of people, Missy J, Allison Saya, Chef Dennis Lidley is there. A lot of people. I can't possibly get through them all, but those are some.
Thank you, Roland. You know, I just want to tell everyone that this topic is so important. To me, I've been wanting to have my own stories published for a long time, and those of you who know me know that I have a business called Park Avenue Marketing, soon to be Difference Makers Media, where I've written stories for other people, whether it be video scripts or articles or press releases. It doesn't matter. They've always been for other people. And through a lucky encounter last year, I was at a special event. I was a guest at Christine Kloser's Transformational Author Breakthrough that gave me the nudge I needed. I have never been to an event like that. It was a combination of spirituality with practical tips and strategies where I could meet and network with people from all over the world and get inspiration and motivation to move my story forward. And so now it's time for you to have a little taste of that too. And there's still so much to learn. So I want to give you an introduction, a brief one about Christine, because she has so many credits to her background. Christine is an award-winning best-selling author. She's known as the Transformational Catalyst, the Transformation Book Coach, and a spiritual guide. She's also the creator of the Transformational Author+Experience and Get Your Book Done program, and she's trained more than 25,000, I repeat, 25,000 authors, and has personally guided several hundred of them to get published. Christine is on a mission to help aspiring authors who want to publish and market their books that make a difference, and she believes everyone's story can transform lives. So without further ado, let us welcome Christine Kloser. Christine, thank you for being here. Where are you coming in from?
Hey there, Lynn. Thanks for having me. I think we need to update that number. It's closer to 70,000, so I think you might have an outdated bio, but that's all right. I'm speaking to you from my home office in York, Pennsylvania, where we are up for a beautiful, sunny, 76-degree day. So
that's fantastic. I really appreciate you're taking time from a writer's retreat right now to be here. Tell us first a little bit about your personal story and journey. How did you get to become a transformational catalyst and transformational book author?
Oh, well, through going through my own fire of transformation, right? How do we teach transformation and hold space for transformation as we live it and experience it and continue to experience it? And in particular, I had actually published my first book back in 2004, and I've been in the book business, you know, helping people sort of at arm's length ever since then to write and publish books to get their stories out. So there was that going on one end. And then I also, since 1997, have been facilitating transformational retreats. I started facilitating retreats in Lake Arrowhead, California, would bring a dozen women at a time up to a little cabin in the mountains and do, you know, 2.5 days of work transforming lives. For years I did that.
Wow.
And in December of 2010, like 2009 and 2010 were outrageously difficult years for me. I was on a track with my business that it felt like was not the right track, and I decided to pull the plug on what I was doing to get back to what I feel like I was put here to do, rather than what I thought I should do. Mm-hmm. And as a result of pulling the plug, everything changed. I went through bankruptcy. I lost my house to foreclosure. Well, we did a short sale, but basically foreclosure. My little publishing business that I had at the time, my former business partner ended up with after a very difficult dissolution. Like, when I say it was bad, it was bad.
Oh,
but
boy.
In that time, it was about January of 2011, I was really begging for clarity. You know, what do I do now, right? I lost my home, I lost my business, I don't really have anything to my name. I was still married, had my amazing daughter as well, but like nothing. So I begged to be shown what I was to do next. And it came in very clearly. I was supposed to do this thing called the Transformational Author Experience. So it was strong enough nudge. I followed it, and within a few months of getting that nudge, I was training the first 10,000 students in TAE 2011. So
wow.
It's been going from there, and now the 5th one's coming up in a few weeks.
You know, I think that's so encouraging for everyone to hear, because it's so easy for people to look at others who've made great achievements and just think, well, they just always had it in them, or they just always were able to do it, without realizing that they had to go through the struggles too. And I think it's a great point you make, that we all have to go through challenges to get to where we want to be. There's so much to cover here. I'd like to ask you, next, you know, what are some of the steps you think people need to know in order to become a transformational world-class author?
Well, I think one of the first things to understand is, what does it mean to be a transformational author, right? I mean, it's like, let's start there and lay the foundation first. And it's interesting, because when this concept came to me, January, February 2011, I went online and put transformational author in quotes in Google to search it, and it crickets on the internet. Right? Like, how many gazillions of sites are there? I couldn't find those two words used together. So I had no definition that I could reference. I had to create my own. So this is where I'm going to ask you to start, and grab your pen and paper, because I'm going to pose 4 questions that I want you to answer.
Okay.
Get really clear. You, Lynn, and everybody else watching. The first level of understanding what it means to be a transformational author is getting clear for yourself the transformation that you want for you through the writing of the book. Do you want more confidence? Do you want more clarity? Are you looking for more courage that comes along with writing a book? Maybe you want to just feel more credible in your career. There's a lot of different things that you can personally transform as you write the book. So that's step number 1. Second thing to ask yourself is, what transformation do you want for your readers? Right, your readers, because that's why you're writing. Yes, it's for your own transformation, your own evolution, right, your own liberation, if you will. But if the book doesn't land with the readers where the reader is, they don't get what you want to give them. So you've got to get clear on the second question. What transformation do you want for your readers? It's a second.
Good. Thank you.
And then the third question to ask yourself, and this is relevant for those of you who either have a business or who want to create a business around your book, it's essential also to understand, what's the transformation that you want for your business. right? Do you want to use your book to help you grow your business, to get the phone ringing with more potential clients? Do you want to use it to somehow build your list? Do you just want to position yourself as the expert so you can raise your rates and maybe develop new programs based on your book? There are 1,000 ways that you can transform your business with a book, that you need to be clear on what that transformation might be for you, either going from no business to some business, or some business to more business, or more aligned business. So that's the third thing to know. And then the fourth question to ask yourself is, what transformation would be possible for the world? Like, if every person on the planet who your book is meant for read it, how would the world be different? What would change?
I love that.
And yeah, sometimes when I cover this in person, I'll see people in the audience, you know, with just tears coming down their cheeks, like, oh my gosh, there'd be no more war, there'd be no more unwanted children, there'd be no more, you know, disease or cancer, there'd be no one living in scarcity, like the world would be in this place of abundance. So it's kind of amazing to think of, like, what would be possible, like what would the ultimate end goal be? Now,
I love that.
I don't know that that's for sure going to happen with your book, but having that end goal in mind can, as you know, Lynn, I can feel you fired up by that question. It's like you can feel yourself be fueled by the amazing possibility, right? A world of peace. So those are the 4 questions I suggest you start with.
Oh, I love that, Christine. And you of all people know that everything starts first with your inner thought about yourself and having that belief. So I want to shift now to the question of, how do you recommend that all of our aspiring writers overcome these doubts and feelings of fear? What can they do to get out of that, or out of writer's block? And you have a great video about that too.
There's a lot. I mean, I could talk forever, and we're going to share a resource, I believe, on the top 3 ways to overcome writer's block, little 15-minute video I put together for you. But one of the most important things, well, 2 strategies for overcoming writer's block. There's so many. Let me just see which ones I want to share in the moment.
Please.
Okay. First and foremost is understand you're not writing your book alone. The idea was not placed on your heart for you to have to figure out mentally every single word. Your book is actually a co-creation with an energy that exists outside of you, right? You could call it the universe, you could call it God, spirit, soul, whatever it may be. That energy that makes the grass grow green after a cold, long winter, that same energy is actually your partner in co-creating this book. So if you ever sit down and you think to yourself, you know, I can't write, I don't know what to write, and you're just stuck, stop trying to figure it out up here, and instead get quiet, right? And begin to listen. Like you heard my story, January, February 2011, I spent a month on my knees begging, show me, what am I to do? What do you want me to deliver? I am lost. I can't do this on my own. Wow. And, you know, enough of that, I got the complete download, and as you heard, training 10,000 authors within a matter of a few months. Your book is the same way. You're not creating it alone. So go within, ask for the clarity, ask for the guidance, ask to be shown. And so that's one recommendation that I make. Another recommendation, I'm trying to make sure I give you the ones that aren't in the video that you're going to go watch.
That's fine. You can share some of the video. It's always good to hear this again. This is really great information.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Another thing that I'm going to recommend that you do is when you're really stuck and you can feel that fear kicking up, like, whoa, whatever it might be, who's going to read it? I'm not good enough. I'm not a good writer. I failed English. You know, my mom said that no one's going to care. Whatever the story is, right?
Right.
I want you to take out your paper, pen, like write this longhand, no fingers on the keyboard. This needs to be longhand on a page. I want you to actually explore that fear and just begin to write to it. You know, just begin to write to it. Explain what the fear is, what's going on, and just begin to enter into a conversation, because chances are the fear that you're feeling about writing that book that's keeping you from getting words on the page can very well be a fear that at one point or another served you, protected you, maybe even saved your life. But now is not then. And now you need to look at, okay, what pieces of this fear are old, outdated, and just not true anymore? You know, for those of you who believe in past life experiences, some of that fear could be because in former lives you were, you know, beheaded because of you spoke your truth. So, like, who knows what's going on? But if you can get into dialogue with the fear, no matter what your beliefs are about it, if it's just from this life, from other lives, you know, I work with all kinds of clients, but if you can get into dialogue with it, it actually begins to dissipate. And the fear may actually, on the page, begin to teach you and show you and guide you to the positive place that you want to be, so you can begin to have the words come on the page.
That is so powerful. I certainly believe in the power of energy and the fact that whoever is even listening right now, I feel are people who need to hear your words, Christine, who need to feel inspired. And I would like to even ask you now, you know, what advice do you give? What are some of the nuggets? Because you give so much in your events, more than 30 minutes, obviously. What are some of the nuggets of wisdom you can offer our listeners to move into that state of clarity? What additional tips can you give that you have shared at your programs?
Well, one of the greatest ways to get to clarity, like I said, is not to try to figure it out. Not try to figure out in your head. Again, when you pose a question and put pen to paper, you'll be surprised at what emerges. So I would encourage you from a very practical place. And once you've connected with your reader from the questions I asked you before, I also want you to connect with that reader and what's their challenge? And how is what you want to share a solution to their problem? And just start taking notes. You know, one of the ways that I can help my readers solve a problem is X. And just begin to take notes. Just little bullet points are all you even need to do, so that you can begin to allow yourself to see, wow, I could really help someone. And when you can think of one particular reader, right, like you might know the person, you might create an imaginary person that embodies your ideal reader. When you can connect with them almost like they were your best friend and begin to write and share those nuggets. Oh, wow, okay, if this is what, if someone's challenging with a health, you know, has a problem with a health challenge, and you are an expert on diet, nutrition, and fitness and all of these things, you can imagine, well, okay, what do I know that I would share with that person struggling with their health? You know, who wants to find their optimal weight and, you know, live healthy and strong. And when you just begin to think about that, like, the wisdom just starts coming out of you, the knowledge, the expertise, the stories and examples that you have that you can share will just begin to flow. You're not writing a book for millions, you're writing a book for one person. And that gets rid of some of the blocks right there when you really consider you're writing a book for one person.
That's so true, because otherwise you can get intimidated by looking at a blank page and you can feel stuck. You know, I'd like to also have you address the idea of why is it so important to have a coach? Why can't writers, you know, who love to be on their own anyway, just go off and write?
Yeah. Well, we've talked a little bit about writer's block. One of the biggest challenges for authors is there are actually 4 places that they get blocked. And it's such a vulnerable experience, very empowering experience, but also can be very vulnerable experience to excavate your story and wisdom and claim it, you know, as valuable enough to put on the page, right? So you can imagine the blocks that will come up just in that writing process. But once you've written the book, right, and had a coach to, you know, this is what I spend my time doing when I coach my clients is, you know, picking them up from out of a little hole that they fell into and getting them back on solid ground and moving forward. I just remind them and help them get from that broken place to where they can be with words just flowing out of their being. But the challenge is that writers also hit blocks around publishing. That's a second challenge. I met a gal once. I was speaking at a Lisa Nichols event a couple of years ago, and she came up to me. She's like, I have this book, you know, written, edited in my computer. And it sat on her hard drive for 3 years, edited and ready to go to print. So getting through writer's block was one piece, but having a coach to guide you to actually get it published, and then to get it promoted, which kicks up a whole bunch of other stuff. Do I really have to get on video and do these hangouts to share my message, and freaks people out. So then you have people who have a book but don't get it out there because you're not being coached on, continuing to get past those blocks to get it out there. And then finally, a lot of people also run into blocks around, well, how do I build a business? How do I build a program? How do I do a retreat or a seminar or even just a one-on-one coaching call based on the content of the book? So authors face so many pitfalls along the way that without a coach, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to drop. I mean, we know you're going to drop. I've been training authors, right, close to 70,000 of them since 2004, and I know that the people who aren't coached to move past those blocks take their book to their grave with them, which we don't want.
That's so sad.
It happens all the time, and we don't want that to be you. We want you to get what you need to not just start, but finish, publish, promote, and create a beautiful, aligned, soulful business around your book. And it's really difficult to do it on your own.
You are so right. And that's why I think it's really great to have everyone be able to learn from you right now. Roland mentioned we have some comments. It's hard to listen and watch the comment stream at the same time. So I was going to turn to Roland.
I haven't gone over there myself at all, so I'll just let you feed comments so that I'm not distracted.
Yeah, no, I want to hear what you have to say. Roland, do you want to share some of the comments we have from our audience?
Absolutely, and I would first apologize. We tried an hour before we started, and Comment Tracker refused to function properly, so we're going to do this live here. Elaine Nieberding commented that she loves it, Christine, and she summarizes your 4 points.
Hi, Elaine. I know Elaine. Hey, hi.
Yeah. She summarizes your 4 points in her own words and then wraps it up with connecting with these feelings and visions of transformation. Yes. And then Mark Dieterle says, wow, powerful questions. I have to go back and watch the replay.
Definitely, Mark.
William Rock says, fantastic discussion as I am geeking out. Thanks. And he follows with, Christine, he gives you a wow and says, I am on the spot, afraid to publish. I am in the same spot, afraid to publish just yet. And then there's a lot going on, folks. Jeremy Murphy says, free writing helps me a lot when I am writing. I also remember Mark Twain's quote, writing is easy. All you have to do is cross out the wrong words.
Great one. That's great. Well, we only have a little time, so I would like Christine to share what is happening in your upcoming program, the Transformational Author event? And also experience, sorry. And what are people going to be able to get out of this that will help them go even further and get past their blocks?
Oh, man. Well, the Transformational Author Experience is coming up. It's a 2-week online virtual training that you can access completely free. It runs from May 18th through May 29th, Monday through Friday. We give you the weekend off so you can kind of recover because it's pretty, it's fun, it's awesome, it's transformational, and it can be a little intense because basically what I do is I pull together top leaders in the industry. We're talking New York Times bestselling authors, publishers, literary agents, transformational leaders, and marketing experts. We come together for 2 weeks to pretty much teach you an 8-step system on how to write, publish, and promote your transformational book. And we're talking teachers like Lisa Nichols, who has been on top of the New York Times bestseller list a couple times, Chris Atwood, whose second book just hit the New York Times bestseller list again. We've got Christy Whitman, who was also on the New York Times bestseller list. And then we have people like Eckhart Tolle's publisher, right?
Wow.
He's going to talk to you about the art of writing a transformational book. Now, Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, one of the most transformational books on the planet. So Mark is going to actually come on and tell you, like, what is he looking for when he sees a proposal? And what would get his attention, like Eckhart Tolle's proposal of the book got his attention. We also have senior literary agents that represent people like Neil Donald Walsh and Jack Canfield. They're going to come on and talk to you about proposal writing and how to get the attention of an agent and how to build your platform. So, you know, we're also going to cover, what do you do? Do you self-publish? Do you traditionally publish? And what about that ebook publishing thing? Should I get my book on Kindle, and what does it take to do that? Plus tons of inspiration. It's a lot of information, but as you know, Lynn, because you've experienced it, I believe, in the past, there's a lot of inspiration mixed in with the information so that you can stay engaged, receive the content, believe in your ability to do it without just getting overwhelmed. But pretty much you're going to end up one of the most educated and conscious authors on the planet if you listen to this training. So
this is amazing. I don't think I've ever heard of anything quite like this, Christine.
There isn't anything like it. That's why we've had, I mean, literally people from 90 countries, tens of thousands of them from, probably by now it's more than 90 countries at last count. It was 90 countries from around the world who have tuned in. And then amazing things happen. Like just last week I spoke with 2 graduates from the Transformational Author Experience. Uma Girish was one, and Jerry Gavin was another. He just had me on his radio show on Tuesday of this week because they came through the program. And now, like, Jerry's got his own Hay House radio show. His second book deal with Hay House is coming out. He's speaking at the I Can Do It conferences. Another client's heard him in Denver recently on stage. And if it wasn't for my transformational author, this is in front of 300 people. And he was saying if it wasn't for Christine Kloser's Transformational Author Experience, I would not be here. My book would not be written. You would not be in the seats. She saved my book.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what's possible with what's going to happen.
Oh, so that is so exciting.
You know, we need to just clarify, because right now, if you're listening live on Thursday, whatever it is, May 7th, our official registration page is not up yet for that program. However, somewhere here, I believe there's a link to access that video on the top 3 ways to overcome writer's block. As long as you go right now and access that video, Lynn can give you directions on how to do that. But as long as you go access that right now, you will be automatically registered for the Transformational Author Experience, and beginning next week, we'll send you the schedule, the classes, who's speaking, what time, what topic, where you can listen to replays if you can't get there live, and all of that good stuff. So just get the writer's block resource that you see on this page, and then for sure, stay tuned when I start emailing you all the details next week for TAE, and I hope to see you there. It'll rock the world in the most amazing way.
I am so excited. So everyone, I want you to know that link is on the event page, but I will also put it on the comment stream so you can see it prominently. It says top 3 ways to overcome writer's block, but I think, Christine, we probably need to also put another description that this is how to register for your program, because people won't realize that they need to go to that site in order to register. We are coming to the end. This is like a what do I call it? A train. We're trying to move so fast to cover so much. Christine, I am so glad you were able to join us. Can you give us some closing statements here of any advice or encouragement or motivation that you want to share with our viewers and listeners to help them?
One of the most important things I can say is a quote that I actually received on a card that a client gave to me not too long ago when I was speaking at an event. And she gave me this card. I believe that I'm going to hopefully credit her correctly, a woman named Brandy Snyder. This was her quote. And what she says is that to the world, right, to the world, you may be just one person. But to one person, you may be the world. And if you can think right now of a book that you read that transformed your life, right? I know for me, it was Cheryl Richardson's book, The Unmistakable Touch of Grace. I picked it up on December 2nd of 2010, going into this phase of my life, and I can tell you hands down that she changed my life. To this one person, she and her book were my world on December 2nd of 2010. And your book has the same potential. There may be someone someday that sends a card or a letter or a note to you. I've reached out to Cheryl many times to try to thank her personally for changing my life with her book. But you will get those calls and letters and emails from people say, thank you. To me, you were that one person that changed my world. This is what's possible when you actually get out of your way, you know, work with a coach like me or someone to get you through all those blocks and make it happen. You can truly impact lives with your words, and that's what the world needs right now. So,
beautiful. Can you share that name of that book again? Because it went by very fast.
Cheryl, Cheryl, is the author, Cheryl Richardson. And the book is The Unmistakable Touch of Grace.
The Unmistakable Touch of Grace by Cheryl Richardson. And to remember that we all should remember, we to one person, we are the world. And we are all connected here thanks to you, Christine and Roland. We're hearing some fantastic inspirational messages. I would recommend everyone to get involved. Now, if you have that story that's waiting to be shared with the world, remember, it needs to come out. Please take your time and take a look at that link that you see on the event page, you'll see on the common stream, and join into this event that will give you an opportunity to have your voice heard. Christine, thank you again. I did my very best to stay very aware of your time because you're going back to your writer's retreat, and I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to have our paths cross again. Roland, thank you again for your great work in monitoring comments. And to all of you, just believe in yourself, as Christine has mentioned, because you deserve to do that. Your story is waiting for the world to hear. And with that, have a wonderful week, and we'll look forward to seeing you again, Christine, very soon on your program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.